It's another Wednesday, and welcome to the Premier League Preview Show right here on Citi TV. We are live on Facebook, and the preview show is proudly brought to you by Betway Premium Bank and proudly supported by SlidePay, Vodafone, and Guinness. We are looking ahead to another exciting weekend of Premier League action. Our start time will be happening at Anfield, Liverpool versus Chelsea, and it's just nice that we start with Liverpool. We'll get to that in a bit though, but drop your comments in the comment section below and we'll have mad fun between now and the end of the program. My name is Nathan Kwat. We'll do a quick turnaround. When we come back, I introduce my guest and we start talking. It should be fun. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Premier League Preview Show. My name is Nathan Kwa. We are running till about 1:30 and we look ahead to match week 13 of the Premier League. It should get fascinating. Let me just grab my fixture list before we even get into anything. Benjamin Nketiah is my guest. Hi.
Hold on a second there. I need to say happy birthday to the man. And guess what? The man shares a birthday with Asamoah and Chris Smalling.
Emaran Fellaini.
Very interesting company you have there by the crib shirt, you call it.
Yeah, the crib shirt in honor of the crib gang. But anyway, thank you very much. So you can add your birthday wishes to the comments. The more birthday wishes, you might get a present from me. Just kidding. But thank you very much. But let's start off with our Friday night fixture. And it's West Ham taking on Leicester City. These two teams have been all over the place. Leicester, we thought, had some stability, but they were beaten by Manchester City over the weekend. West Ham themselves, they lost 2-0 in David Moyes' first game. And they play at home for the first time under David Moyes. And they welcome the counter-attacking Leicester City to East London on Friday night.
It will be interesting because basically this is a tie between two teams who are really still trying to find their way after match week 13 in the season. Managerial changes have occurred already, so they will both require some form of motivation to be able to get this going. Now, I wouldn't really want to make this about tactics so much because, I mean, like I said, both teams have been ushered into new systems. Leicester City have Claude Puel in the boat now, and then West Ham United have David Moyes in the boat now. So when managers come around, basically what happens in the beginning is they try not to infuse players with too many tactics.
Okay.
Just try to feed off the little energy they get here because basically with teams in this position, morale is low, confidence is low. You need to get some form of result going. You need to get anything going you can hang on to, and then when things start to settle down, you can really begin to push through with the tactical system. So on surface value alone, Leicester City versus West Ham United tie, based on what I've seen this season, looks like Leicester will take this one away. Why? Because again, I still fancy Claude Puel better than I do fancy David Moyes as one. Two, if I look at Leicester City as a whole, I don't think that they are reaching their full potential yet in terms of the sort of player personnel they have present at the club and the sort of results they are churning out. So guess what? It's been a season that has been quite topsy-turvy for a guy like Riyad Mahrez. Even Jamie Vardy, who's gotten on the score sheet every now and then, it's not been the best sort of season for him. And I'm still asking myself, why are Leicester keeping Kelechi on their bench? He's supposed to be a record signing. Why is he on their bench?
But could it not be a matter of a player who may not be giving the right indications during training sessions?
Well, I mean, I could rather put it down to managerial changes. Because, I mean, the management in now are not the management that brought in Kelechi Iheanacho.
Okay.
But again, I feel as if he's done enough. Look, there's a reason why there's a word called reputation. There's a reason why there's track record. There's a reason why there are leaderboards and stats tables. These things count for something. Unless, look, I know Kelechi Iheanacho. He really couldn't have been that terrible in training. He really couldn't have been.
But I don't know. I still think of Kelechi Iheanacho, and I think that he's maybe a touch slower than the required pace. You know, Leicester have been playing at a certain rhythm, at a certain pace for a while. And when they find their good moments, they always fall back to that mode and they play on the break. They are good at that. I think that Kelechi Iheanacho is a bit too slow. You feel that if he's at the end of the move, it doesn't matter his pace. If he's there to finish the move, why not?
About Kelechi's pace, I don't think that he's necessarily the fastest of guys. I don't necessarily think he's a slow guy either. He's a guy who you won't usually find running 30 yards to get to a ball, and that's all his game is about. I know you talk about counter-attacking play and fast-paced football, but again, he's a guy who knows how to finish. He knows how to position himself. All you need to do is give him an idea of the game plan. I'm not sure that after 13 weeks, Kelechi does not know what Leicester City are doing as a team.
I mean, he already knows how to score the goals.
And cannot buy into what they are doing. So for me, I think they really need to do a lot more with regards to goal scoring. I've not been too impressed with their creativity in midfield, and that's why, from the point you make, it appears as if they practically try to bypass the midfield in their creative process.
Well, they've lost in N'Golo Kante. There's no Danny Drinkwater, so clearly they'll try and do something different.
Bypass the midfield, but I don't think that it's a model that's sustainable. I feel that it's how come a team like West Brom have found themselves at the wrong end of the table, and their manager has been fired. I'm sure that we'll definitely be getting to him in a bit, but if I look at Leicester City, they really need to make use of a lot more of this. Demarai Gray, this was supposed to be his time. This is supposed to be when he is unleashed onto the Premier League. So I would want to see a lot more from him. On the side of West Ham United, hey, I'm saying, when it comes to David Moyes, I don't even want to talk about tactics. I don't want to talk about the intricacies of the game.
Lots of people have said different things about the manager. He doesn't inspire confidence.
He doesn't.
After the opening loss to Watford, he's criticized the big name players in the team, and he feels that they should give a lot more if this team will succeed.
Very true. One of such big name players, my favorite, Marko Arnautovic. And I believe that Arnautovic is partly one of the major reasons why Bilic got fired. Why? Because he was one of those players who the manager personally vouched for. He says, hey, really go out there and get me that guy. Because I think that whatever we will do this season will hinge on the performances of.
But did Bilic not know the kind of player he was signed? Arnautovic never turned up week in, week out for Leicester.
But he was always that guy who everybody knew had confidence. Guess what? At this point, his biggest contribution to the team is a sending off. And it's very... No, if I think about him and his time at West Ham, that sending off is the most pronounced achievement since he arrived at the club. Which gives you a very good sense of why West Ham are where they are in the season. So for this game, I just think that, one, West Ham, like I've been saying since the start of the season, don't have enough quality for me. I look all around the pitch, and if your star players are Javier Hernandez, Lanzini, Andre Ayew, and Arnautovic, you are in trouble.
Okay, so you don't
think Leicester to win?
So Leicester to win. That's a Friday night game at 8 p.m. It should be fascinating. Live on City 97.3 FM. We've got Man United taking on Brighton on Saturday. That's at 3 p.m. It's our first game of the day. That should be a very, very, very good one. United are hoping to win yet another game at home. Lukaku has scored. Paul Pogba is back. He got a goal last week. Zlatan should be on the bench for that one. But Saturday 5:30 is the showstopper. It's Liverpool taking on Chelsea, and Chelsea played tonight in the Champions League. We don't know how they'll fare, but Liverpool last night really gave the headliners a fun time, and they allowed the stories of their horrible defense to re-emerge after thinking that they had gone past it. They put 3 past Southampton. Yesterday, they looked very horrible in that second half. And Jurgen Klopp said they stopped playing and in the end conceded 3 goals in a game that they had total control over.
This is what I want to do. Firstly, as a football person and as a person who has inclinations towards Liverpool, I want to put Liverpool and Sevilla as a tie in a special glass case and leave it there. Because I think that dating back to the Europa League and even preceding that, Liverpool and Sevilla have always had something special. Sevilla have always had a thing over Liverpool. It's very unnatural. I have barely seen a foreign club exert such influence over.
Because at Anfield, at the start of the Champions League, Sevilla were down by 2, I think.
Exactly.
Then they came back to get another point.
And from that particular victory, they derived the confidence and the awareness that once they had done it once, they could definitely repeat the
but Liverpool clearly couldn't have slept on the job twice. And this weekend against Chelsea, they can't afford to repeat such mistakes of leading and going to sleep, because Chelsea has enough quality to punish you on any day. We saw them put 4 past West Brom, essentially getting to an Pulis out of a job.
Guess what? I think 2 things might have accounted for that Liverpool victory: nerves or fatigue. Nerves resulting from how this previous tie had panned out before, and fatigue panning out from the sort of energy they expended in the first half to get the 3 goals. Now, in a tie against Chelsea, it's going to be the same. They're not going to change their approach. It's going to be full throttle attacking football, at least in the first 50 to 60 minutes. Now, what you need to do as a manager is to really sit your players down. And this is why sometimes I don't know about these things happening too much in soccer and football. So I like to infuse my readings from basketball. This is why sometimes you need to let your players know that, look, sometimes we need to throw away these drawing board or whiteboards where they are like paints and tactics
and all these.
It's not about all those things. Sometimes you really need to really just quieten your mind as a team. Like, you need to sit down and communicate to yourselves and ask yourselves, why is this happening to us? We clearly have enough quality to compete with everybody else in this league. Why is this happening? The team needs to sit down and have a proper team meeting. I think that Mr. Klopp needs to stay out of that meeting. This should be a players. Yes, this should be a players only.
He's the manager of the team.
He's probably, look, I don't think that there's anything Klopp could teach this Liverpool team that he probably hasn't imparted onto them in the space of time he's been there already. As far as tactics are concerned, as far as food for thought is concerned, as far as hair dryers are concerned, I'm sure he's dished them out pockets full.
Could it not also be that maybe he has shielded his team for far too long, and maybe he needs to tell them the painful truth?
So they need to get in the room themselves and tell themselves to grow some balls. I don't think the manager needs to come in there and tell them again, because this clearly is an issue of nerves. And that's how I see it. And if you've played football before, or if you've been on any big stage or any grand stage before, you know what nerves can do to you. You will trip over lines. You regularly could sing in your sleep. You will do all sorts of unnatural things.
So you think Liverpool were nervous in that time?
Exactly, especially after the tie came to 3-2. And Chelsea would definitely be looking out for signs of such weakness. Guess what? Liverpool possibly go down early in that game. Nerves appear again. Everybody starts saying, oh, the defensive woes are here again. And you need, one thing I noticed is that when teams go through a consistent period of poor form, which can be attributed to the same deficiencies, whenever they go down, shoulders begin to drop, guys begin to put their hands on their hip, stare in the skies. That's the body language you don't want. When you go down by a goal and you're trying to emerge from a crisis, you say, you know what, we've been here before, we've seen this crisis before, it's time to man up and try to grow out of it. But I haven't seen Liverpool grow out of their set piece deficiency. They considered 2 goals from set pieces in that game against Sevilla.
But they scored 2 from set pieces too.
Brilliant. But it is their weakness. We know that Liverpool on a regular Premier League day are more likely to score from open play and a counter attack than from a dead ball situation. Defending that dead ball situation should be their problem, because guess what? Chelsea love dead balls. Alvaro Morata, they're already hailing him the headmaster. David Luiz, if he's released from exile, could possibly end there.
If Cahill plays, you know his threat. Marcos Alonso is dangerous.
It's multifaceted. So one, Liverpool really have a lot to do in terms of set pieces. They should get their temperament in check. I don't know if you are going to do yoga. I don't know if you are going to sit in a dark room. I don't know if you are going to do, I don't know what it is. But they really need to find a way to block out all the noise, block out the pressure, go out there and perform like people expect Liverpool to.
Well, let me go through a few of the messages, and I'm sure we'll be getting more messages from the Liverpool camp as we go along. Francis Yao Solomon says David Moyes to follow soon. Pedro Samuel says United forever. Isaac Kofi Sando says Usay Chelsea. Patrick Oche was sending a birthday wish. Okay, thank you very, very much. Easy Sticks is also sending us a birthday wish. We'll try and we'll try and go through as many of these messages as possible. But sometimes your predictions as well. There are great games this weekend. Liverpool versus Chelsea Saturday at 5:30 p.m. is our star game. Then on Sunday we start off with Southampton taking on Everton. That should be a good one. I mean, if the two teams don't decide to sell us boring football. Southampton are at home. Everton are still trying to find a replacement for the departed Ronald Koeman. David Answorth is still handling the team as a caretaker. He wants the job. The owner has dreams of bringing Diego Simeone, which I think won't happen.
Yeah. I mean, Everton, Southampton. This would have been an exciting tie 2 seasons ago. These days, both teams sincerely don't really interest me because of the path along which they've gone when they look like they were actually ready for the big time. I mean, I look at Southampton, they look like they were ready to make the jump up to become a Premier League powerhouse.
Okay.
Guess what? A few months down the line, they've actually retrogressed. Same with Everton Football Club as far as player personnel and managerial hirings are concerned. Now, they are in a situation where they are trying to hunt down coaches of other teams. And really, it just tells you what the club have been going
Marco
through.
Silva, for example, he still can't give a straight answer as to whether or not he wants to go to Everton.
These days, I don't even like to vouch for managers any longer. I don't like to. I'm not even going to say if Marco Silva is a good choice, if he should possibly make the move. But I mean, to the game itself, like I was saying, Southampton don't really interest me as a club anymore. They don't have exciting players anymore. Guys who look like they had a buzz about them have all of a sudden
Redmond off, Toussaint Tadic, Ward-Prowse.
They've all just really become ordinary all of a
It
sudden.
looks like the most exciting player in that team now is Sofiane Boufal. He
Definitely.
looks like the only player who wants to try something on the pitch.
And the amazing bit is he doesn't actually even get unanimous playing time. He's not like that guy will be the first.
He's always off the bench.
Always off the bench, gets in peripheral minutes. Why are teams not doing things right? Why don't they see the little things that we see? Sofiane Boufal is most definitely, maybe if you take away the Tadic of 2 seasons ago, yes, most definitely the most creative player in that team, impact type of player. But again, I've not seen enough from Manuel Pellegrino to agree that he is tactically astute, to agree that he is the man to lead them out of the wilderness. At this point, I think that Everton have more to play for because they are in a pit. They've been the subject of ridicule. They don't have a manager.
Last week we saw them coming back to draw
Exactly.
at Crystal Palace.
They're a team that have a lot to prove, and I just feel that alone should be enough to get them over the line.
Okay.
Minus that, Southampton, they will give it as much of a fight as they can, but they just don't convince me.
All right, Southampton not convincing. Benjamin, let's close it out quickly with Huddersfield versus Manchester City. And we should say that Manchester City should be winning this one. Strange things have happened, but this Pep team look really, really dangerous as things stand. It looks like now they are not really afraid of giving goals away. They believe in the ability to come out there and get as many goals as they can.
Forget about the goals. I was taking a skim through the stats sheets and I found out that the top 3 playmakers in the league now, all with 5 assists plus, all belong to Manchester City. David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané. This is a team creating opportunities for fun. And if you have 3 players leading the league in terms of assists,
that's dangerous.
That's the biggest statement there is for me. That's the
It
biggest.
only means that strikers will not lack opportunities, and midfielders will also score for fun.
You don't know where the goals are coming from. It means that anything can happen. This team is so diverse, they are so dynamic that anything could really happen. One time you are watching a scouting video where it looks to you as if they prefer attacking via the left flank because you've seen the left flank being damaged. Guess what? Fast forward a few minutes and they probably would have done 5 or would have displayed 5 or 6 other options to score. Now that's where the danger lies. For David Wagner, I would expect that he would go with the same template that beats Manchester United.
But won't that be foolhardy, especially against a Manchester City team that will cut you open?
You know what it is? I think that when you decide as a team, strategy-wise, before you come into a game that I am going to park the bus and counter-attack, it makes more sense than when you, throughout the week, tailor your sessions to attack-minded football, only to come into the game and realize that, we really can't match them boot for boot. We need to recoil. Then you are possibly just counting down the minutes until when the pressure ends, when you concede and when the match ends. And there's a very big psychological difference between the two. Deciding that this is the game plan we are going with and executing and
playing by ear as you go along.
Forced to go along with a certain game. I think that they, as a wise, pragmatic team, should decide that, like my good friend will say, park the bus and throw the keys away. That is what they should do against Manchester City. No other approach
will make sense.
Any approach that involves them trying to come over the center line will result in a 5-0 or 6-0 scoreline, because they just do not have the quality. And Manchester City, I was surprised. I saw them against Feyenoord. They managed to find a goal only in the dying embers of the game.
Yeah.
Guess what? Because Feyenoord were extremely tactically disciplined. Now, those who watched that game will realize that Feyenoord actually managed to play some of the good football. Guess what? Feyenoord and Huddersfield don't have the same technically gifted players. Feyenoord have tons of technically gifted players.
So they can afford to try some of these things.
Though are a little more straightforward, a little more aggressive. I need to see that passion. I need to see that we are the underdog and we are not scared of beating you status. Meaning that they could possibly get tops 3 opportunities,
and they need to take them.
Bury those 3 opportunities. Bury at least even one.
Okay.
And you're on your way to being fine.
We'll see how David Wagner will line up against Pep Guardiola on Sunday. That game is at 4 p.m. It should be a fascinating weekend though. But let's just take a short break. When we come back, I'll read as many comments as I can, and then we'll be wrapping it up. It's the Premier League Preview Show, live on Facebook, live on Citi TV. My name is Nathan Kwai. We're taking a short break. We'll be back shortly.
They'll go with the 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead. An early goal will settle the nerves.
Their away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home sides kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
Their star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Inside the last minute of the opening 45 here. And,
Scores. 1. Who? Red. Blue.
What? Scores! What a way to finish the first half!
Scores. Halftime.
Scores!
We hope. We dream. We play. We are fire in our hearts. We are made of black.
Namaste.
Hell's down heaven now, living in the same town, trying to find something new. This ain't right, it's no good, no good.
Hello, welcome. Hello.
Going through the same things.
All right, welcome back. We are in the final leg of the preview show for match week 13. It should get exciting, Ben. We are 13 weeks already, 25 more.
Yep. The season actually breezes by really.
Yeah, and think about it. We'll start having the midweek games, the Christmas schedule. So by the time you hit January, February, a large part of the season is already gone. So that's the lowdown. So do stay with us for the rest of the year. Remember, at Christmas, the games will come at you thick and fast. From about the 26th, which is Boxing Day, there's football every day through to the 1st or 2nd of January. That's a lot of football. So you should be staying with us throughout the Christmas right here on Citi 97.3. Let me go through some of the messages and then we'll figure out where to take this show next. Francis Yao Solomon says David Moyes to follow soon. I think I've read that. Israel Badasu says Chelsea will definitely win. Okay. Kwame Boama says Chelsea will win. Daniel Bonfair is okay. He's wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you very much. Macelo Silvano says Jose is going to be the first manager to beat Pep. Okay. Peter Bakayoko says win for Chelsea on Saturday. Smart Yeboah says Chelsea will beat Liverpool. We are going 15 matches straight. Okay. McDonald Bruce says Chelsea will beat Liverpool by 3-1. Hey! Tough predictions there. Soku Deladem John says the Lion is back, Agent P is back, 4-goal project is back on. Okay. Kwame Boama is saying Liverpool 0, Chelsea 3. James Nan says draw will be good for both teams. Liverpool versus Chelsea. Interesting, Ben. People are making bold claims. 3-1 to Chelsea.
Chelsea fans are making bold claims. That's what it is. And Liverpool like bold claims. They like it when people.